no money, that's an asshole. It wasn't a phase.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Senior Citizen Podcast. And if you are watching us, you can tell it is kinda sunny in here because I'm with the sun.
Yeah, you damn right.
Matt Kelly.
Son, Father, the Holy Spirit, all that, baby. What's up? Good problems in the building.
How you doing today?
Doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's a lovely place to be. Shout out to you and your new podcast. Really appreciate you having me as a guest.
No, thank you for coming. You were actually the first person who agreed to be on it.
Yeah, I was
with
excited.
Zero context.
For sure. Why not? Love to help out.
And you have, I have to say, you do the best emo nights out here, even though that's the only ones I go to.
I really appreciate you. Yeah. Emo Night's been interesting. It's a blessing to do them, you know. Kind of grew up doing that music, and now I'm DJing. Been doing it for like about 8 years now, and I never thought at one point that I would get this kind of like meeting in the middle where I can like DJ this type of music. I never thought I'd DJ this type of music in my life, so it's just a strange time, but it's a good place to be at the same time.
And I want to go back to, because I know when we talked before, you said you fell out of the scene and stuff, and I want to talk a little bit about how it was like for you back in the day, you know?
Most
Matt,
definitely.
10, 15 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, that's about accurate. I'd say about 16, 15 years. I started like sophomore year of high school, playing guitar in bands. If you're familiar, Solid Sound Studio, shout out Pompano Beach, right next to the porn store in the Mount Trashmore every Friday, Saturday night, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I just kind of grew up playing guitar in like a post-hardcore band. We never did anything too crazy, but loved the music, loved just being in the scene in total. What
did you listen to in that time of your life?
Chiodos, my first band ever, my first performance was at my talent show at my high school, and it was a Chiodos cover band. We played Word's Best Friend, Become Redefined.
Stop.
Yeah, and our singer was a girl. That video's on YouTube. Do not look that up. You don't want to.
Oh, I'm looking it up. I want the link.
Yeah, we'll post the link below for sure. But yeah, I mean, after that, like, I mean, Chiodos was the reason why I started playing guitar, essentially. Pierce the Veil, when they came out, was just like a second coming of Chiodos for me, really. But I really love Dance Gavin Dance, Amorosa. I have an Oceana tattoo. These are probably my top bands. So I was always listening to them. Lower Definition, underrated underdog in the scene. If you don't know them, check them out. They just put out new music I'd say about a year ago at this point. But
right.
But yeah, man.
Time flies, no concept, social construct.
100%.
So, because I'm digesting all this right now, and I mean, maybe it's an age difference type of deal because grandpa over here.
Yeah.
But out of all the bands, Chiodos?
Chiodos, 100%. What you mean?
I see so many like Green Day cover bands.
Nah.
Blink-182 cover bands.
So what it really came down to was Jason Hale, the guitar player, was like my inspiration to play guitar. I really enjoyed like how they like the chords they used, the chord progressions, like they were using like minors like a lot, and it sounded like real medieval, and then they threw in the piano. I've never seen that before, a 6-piece, like, so it was just all these new concepts, and like at the same time, like I was learning guitar too, so it's like I was almost like jumping on the train of like Chiodos, and like every time we go to the shows, we'd be like, you know, air guitaring it out to the guitar player, be like, yeah, I see you. So, but I mean, like with the band that I had, like I said, I was in high school when I joined, so everyone else was about 22. I'd say that 22 and up, essentially. That's what it ended up being, and you know, everyone kind of grew up faster than me, started having kids. My ex-bassist is like a NASA rocket scientist, so good for him, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Ivan. He had terrible stage performance, but he'll understand.
But he can watch a rocket fly off.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's got their strengths, you know what I'm saying? But at one point I realized, you know, I made another band. I was a vocalist. We made one song, but after that it was just kind of like a struggle to find people, at least 3 or 4 people to like jam with that had the time or still wanted to do it as we were all getting older. So I took on production because it was a way to be like a one-man band, essentially.
Right.
And with that new way of creating music became like a new music in general. You know what I'm saying? I was introduced to like hip-hop. I was introduced to like house music, electronic stuff, like Disclosure. So these were like big pieces in my life that like transition to like the next genre, I guess you could say.
Right.
And I'd say and at the same time, bro, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like the scene kind of did die out in like 2013,
Absolutely.
2012, right?
I mean, I don't know where you grew up personally and stuff, but I know that for me, and I've mentioned this multiple times, but when the talent farm closed, like
Oh my
that
God.
shit died.
Yeah, the talent farm was great. The talent I was gonna say, can I curse? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can curse.
It was a
You're
shitty
good.
drive, man. Like I played there a couple times, like take Alligator Alley. It was a great place to be, but yeah, it was a little out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But I saw like Versa emerge there. I've seen maybe Newfound Glory, maybe I'm mistaking that. But like, no, I saw them in Solid Sound Studios, excuse me. But they are, it was a great place to go. Culture Room as well. I kind of grew up like
Room.
playing these places. Culture Room's in Fort Lauderdale.
That was like an unlocked memory. It's
Yeah,
like, I
dude.
haven't heard that in years.
Bada bing. Yeah,
Oh,
Rocket Town, Ground Control. These were just kind of like my stomping grounds as like a kid.
Yeah.
And yeah, man. But yeah, like I said, like the scene kind of died out at the same time that I was like transitioning as well. So it kind of made it easier. And once I started listening to like more smooth stuff, like jazz, soul, like neo soul, like I said, I was really hooked on Disclosure when I found them out.
Right.
And like the screaming kind of got a little crazy for me at one point. I was like, okay, I kind of see what my mom was talking about.
Grandpa.
But yeah, man, yeah, exactly. I guess that's just part of growing up. But that might have been a phase, but music was never a phase for me. It's always been the same.
From what I can tell is that you're just very musically inclined in general.
For sure, yeah.
Someone like me, I'm very much like you can play me one note and then another note and they sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm interviewing and not, I'm not out in a band and I'm not a vocalist. But yeah, the screaming did get a little old as we got older. But nowadays we see how even some of these bands have evolved. Like, have you checked out The Jaws of Life by Pierce the
No, I haven't. That's a recent release, right?
Yeah, released, well, by the time this is out,
Yeah.
but it's released recently. It's a great album. The closing song, 12 Fractures, shivers, like straight goosebumps.
Okay,
and
cool.
Whenever Pierce the Veil brings in a female vocalist to feature on there, like, oof, that shit's gonna pop off.
I gotta listen. On the way home, I'm gonna check it out for sure.
Yeah.
And then of course I gotta play it at the next Emo Night, right?
Yes, you do. Except you skipped over the end of Emergency Contact.
Man, okay. But
It's getting shady in here.
It's getting shady in here, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I got a lot of requests on Emo Night. I gotta do it by order, But Emo Night is another thing, and that's of course how we met. Like I said, grew up doing that stuff, kind of strayed away from it. But I remained in music by basically becoming like a hip hop producer. Like I have a lot of projects out right now with some great people. I have a collective that's primarily hip hop, but it's like branching out to subgenres as well. But yeah, I grew up doing that and then switched to hip hop. And then I moved to Oakland, California in 2018. So I was there, San Francisco Bay Area. Right. I was there until 2021. And excuse me. If you've never been there, it is such a history, it's such a culture, such proud people as they should. Like so many great things have come out of there. Mm-hmm. There's just a great sound that like comes from there that like personally I didn't really understand when I first got there. Mm-hmm. I wasn't really meshing with it the same way. I'd go to a club and everybody be doing their thing and I'd just be like, it's all right, but it's not New York, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I kind of like I would look at these people and be like, these people, regardless of what I think, these people love this.
Right.
Like it's so embedded within them. And what I wasn't going to do was try to pretend like I was part of that, right?
Right.
But what it did make me do was like look inside myself and it's like, bro, like where'd you come from? Like what'd you grow up with?
Okay, so when you refer to this in California, what scene, like what are we talking about there? Is it like a hip-hop movement?
Hip-hop for sure.
Okay.
It's very eclectic out there. There's a lot of different movements going on, but me in particular, I moved there to like pursue like a music career, but like concentrated in hip-hop for sure. Mm-hmm. At least that's just like my strengths at this moment. Like the most work I put out right now, like if you go on Spotify, it's like hip-hop for sure. Like I'm a producer, put out tapes. I've rapped before, but that's not really my thing.
Right.
But like you said, like
but I'm not a rapper.
Yeah, I can, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? But I appreciate music, and like regardless, if you ask me if I like country, I'd probably tell you no. But I'm sure if I listen to enough of it, I'd find 2 or 3 good songs that
But then you
really
blast off,
in.
And I dug my key into.
Yeah, we're not there, but
no, we're there. That's an anthem.
Yeah. Careful, I'll play that at Emo Night next time.
I mean, you played All I Want for Christmas Is You by Mariah Carey.
You damn right, because it was Christmas time, baby. It was lit. It was definitely lit. But yeah, the Emo Nights have been great. I never thought I would DJ emo music ever.
So how did that start? Like, who hit you up first, or was it your idea? Like, how did the first emo night come about?
So first emo night came about because I went to the one in West Palm, Emo Night Brooklyn, just because I've never experienced anything like that. I thought when I rediscovered back in California, I kind of rediscovered like emo music and hardcore shit, and I started listening to it again. And it's like, bro, like I can listen to this and I can listen to hip hop and everything else in between, right? So when I came down, when I moved back down, there's still like apparently such a scene. You know what I mean? It's like Florida was so different when I moved. You know what I'm saying? When I came back, it was completely different. Now there's like people going out. There's like mad events and like places to go, things to do and shit. So yeah, respectable street. I have a lot of friends who like DJ there already, so I was just kind of always over there in West Palm. And I went to Emo Night Brooklyn, and it was the most packed I've ever seen the venue. It was the most packed I've ever seen, and I was just in awe. I was in shock. Like, I can't believe that this movement is still going on. And so it was just like a spark in my head, like an idea of like, I can do better than them. With all due respect, like I respect the hustle. I respect that they're going on tour, going to different spots, but like I know for a fact that I am a better DJ than them, because they seem like they're not really DJs. They're just kind of like press and play left and right. And again, like with emo, it's not really a lot of like technical DJing, like it's saying like house music or hip hop, where you're like transitioning or you're like meshing and crossing over. With this, it's more crowd control, right? With them, they started off with kind of just, you know, getting on the mic, maybe for like the first couple of songs they were lit, and then they just kind of died down. Right. And playing it safe, playing like Green Day and stuff like that, no problem at all. But I felt like I was in the scene where they were playing Pierce Veil, Emarosa, Chiodos, Paramore, Say Anything. And I just feel like I could have done a better job, right? So like after that night, I went on a hunt, and I'm just like, okay, I got to do this emo night stuff. And I live 26 degrees. I live damn near walking distance. Like we play Pokemon and we just walk there all the time. Right. And so I was just talking to one of the bartenders, wasn't even the manager. And I don't even remember the conversation, honestly. We just started talking about emo music. And they were like, oh, like we're talking about doing an emo night here, blah, 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 but we can't, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, now you can. What's up? So I gave my business card, reached out to Kelsey, and then it just went on from there. First time, it was kind of like a uncertain event, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's never been done there. Right. We didn't know the turnout, but it was a great turnout. I'd say like 150 to 200 people max came through. The second one was a couple months after in December. Great turnout as well. And then now recently, ever since that, I've been getting hit up to do emo nights. Like, right, that's your brand on the scene now. At least. I guess so. Yeah. Unintentionally, like didn't plan for it. I DJ, like I'm a DJ, so like I DJ other stuff. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's hip hop, 80s, 70s, disco, love all that. Right. But now I guess I'm an emo DJ. So. Well, I gotta be honest with you, because I have a funny story. The first emo night that I went to, that was my first emo night that, getting back into the scene, and I was looking at stuff, and I knew I wanted this podcast, and I was like, you know what, I have to talk to people, like, unfortunately. Right. No, I'm kidding. I love talking to people. Yeah. So I came out to your emo night, we're walking in, there's that big sign for the flyer or whatever, and it's like, emo night with Matt Kelly, and I went with my boyfriend. Shout out to him for coming to things with me, because I'm like, do you want to come? And he was like, not really, but I'll go for you. He's a cool guy. He's a great guy. So we're like, who's Matt Kelly? Should we know who Matt Kelly is? Like, your name was on there so bold that we're like, am I supposed to know who this fucking guy is? Yeah. Ongoing joke throughout the night until you started playing all the bops that were like, oh my gosh, this is our stuff. Yeah, you damn right. So by the time we left, we were like, no. Everyone needs to know who Matt Kelly is. Right, for sure. And I have no idea why. I think it was just because, like, you guys stuck out to me so much for some reason. You guys were like, I don't know if it was exactly if you guys were so hype, or like I remember you guys like giving me mad requests, and I was like, okay, they know what I'm talking about. So like I pretty much catered that the rest of the night to you guys, and I was like, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want me to do? No, the requests were funny because my boyfriend also doesn't have Instagram, so he took my phone and he just started requesting everything. And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying to vibe. Like, you don't have to request everything. Let him do his thing. He's doing his thing, Yeah, the requests, they're a great concept for emo night. I mean, the whole thing is nostalgia, right? Like, we grew up with this, like, it's coming back, so it feels like it's ours to in a sense, right? Like, where it's like if you didn't grow up with it, that you don't know about it, and like that's what makes it cool. Like, cause I know about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And at the same time, like all the bands are getting older too, and that's why you're seeing like a lot of like, you know, like guitarists from Taking Back Sundays DJing at Emo Night at whatever, you know.
What's his face? The vocalist from Boys Like Girls.
Yeah,
he actually
dude.
lives around here and does like DJing, I think.
Yeah,
like
so
that,
I mean, it's just this weird time where like it is there's a demand for it, you know, and there's a hell of a supply for it too. So that's why you're seeing Emo Nights just pop up everywhere. Like I'm getting breweries asking me to like do Emo Nights like every Thursday. I'm like, bro, I don't think you know how this works.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Brewery Thursday? Nah, I'm out, bro. Thank you. Every Thursday.
Not every Thursday.
Right.
I think the nostalgia aspect of it also can kind of like, it's like shooting yourself in the foot a little bit, because these bands do release new things and you're like, this is great, but it ain't Selfish Machines.
Right.
So I don't know if you have that feeling too.
I do have that feeling, because I'm definitely more inclined to look back than to look forward in terms of like emo music, because I don't know, maybe it's like a self-indulgent thing for me, because like I grew up with this music, therefore I know everything about it. So it's like I'm gonna ride with this, because apparently no one knows about this still. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm introducing shit.
But in this day and age, don't you feel like it's a little bit more mainstream?
I don't know, and that's me not being part of the scene, if I'm being honest with you. So yeah, I mean, that's why I'm on this podcast. You gotta teach me, you know what I'm saying? I know what I know, and what I definitely know is like I know how to DJ. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if like I know that type of music, then I'm gonna play it. I'm a DJ. I'm gonna get people hyped. And but yeah, I mean the scene it appears to have continued without me, which is great to hear. You know what I mean?
But it was weird, because I also fell out and dropped back in, and then it's like, you know, this day and age, I still have CDs, and my car is one of those cars that still has a CD player.
Okay.
Bless.
Yeah.
Because I used to like host my own like metal show and stuff in high school, which was really cool.
Nice.
So I had like the hardcore CDs and stuff, and a lot of them were local bands, and I was like, oh, this is so exciting. Let me look them up. They don't exist anymore. Like,
Yeah, just don't.
It's a whole new scene to jump into.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's also upsetting to see like your like idols be like, and respect to them. I'm not trying to make fun of them or whatever. Everybody has to make a living, but like to not see them as rock stars and like they're just like doing whatever. I'm not trying to like be specific, but like it's also
be specific. It needs to get shadier in here.
Not to these people. I looked up to these people, so I would never talk down on them. But I mean, I've learned so much from this scene, and like I said before, it gives me such like a sense of identity, because it's like, I mean, I grew up with it. It's like natural to me. And what I'm mostly interested in, what's so interesting now is that like, yes, I say that the scene has died, but like if you look at hip hop, it's like trying to be emo now, in the sense where, and I like some of these artists, but like Playboi Carti, you got Trippie Redd, Yeet, I don't know, all these young artists, respect to them, not saying they're bad. Like I said, I listen to a lot of them, but the aesthetic is definitely coming from like
the emo
culture,
yeah.
And not saying they're appropriating it, but
stop appropriating emo culture.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see like that, if anything, at least like that like the sense of fashion is still alive, therefore emo's coming back. And a lot of the people that have grown up to like hip hop, such as myself, they used to listen to emo, bro. And I think a lot of people did that transition because of the fall off of the scene in 2012. I mean, the local scene specifically, bro. Like, I used to go to a show every Friday, every Saturday, if I was playing or not. If I didn't know the bands, if I didn't like the bands, I paid $10.
You're just
every
there to
time
vibe.
I'm there because I know who's gonna be there and I'm gonna have fun. I got my little section, you know, like. And now, it's so different. Like especially in hip hop. Now that I'm a DJ, I do a lot of local hip hop shows too. The performance value is gone. For the most part, has gone down. It's usually just one person on stage, MP3, you know, they might be playing something from their email, you know, and they're just playing along to like the song that already has the lyrics and the vocals and everything.
Right.
Whereas like, you know, a band back when, you know, way back when, it was 5 people, drummers, and I'm cool with a backtrack too, but like some form of like performance value is necessary. Because as a musician, that's where you make the most of your money. So that's where you want to have the most money put in, right?
Right.
And
it's having a stage presence in general.
Yeah,
like, that's why we see people like Harry Styles that are so, you know,
beautiful.
Beautiful. No, and it's the energy. It's the stage presence. Stop laughing at me, Dan.
dude's a beautiful guy. What you want? Like, respect. Like, I'm gonna respect that. You know what I'm saying?
No, but it's the stage presence. If somebody can captivate you on stage, you're sold. You don't care what they're playing.
100%. Yeah, he looks like he's having fun up there.
Makes it look easy.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, it's being on stage is extremely important as an artist. Like, if you're getting fans or anything, regardless of the scene, like, you're gonna need to perform. And it really is. That is really like the biggest contrast from like my transition in between, like from like being in a band to like now being a producer. Is like when you go to a show, it's like damn near most of the people in there, they're the rappers. They're rappers also performing, or they're like, you know, like their best friends are performing, so that's why they're there. But like, there's not really, unless you get like something really moving, which is possible, but the majority of hip hop shows, at least locally, it's an uphill battle where you have to like almost like make people come, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Incentivize them, set the size, whatever. Just moving and grooving with this music, bro.
And it's hard keeping the scene alive, but we're here, we're thriving, and we're working our way through it.
Yeah, most definitely.
I wanted to give you, well, first of all, the opportunity to freestyle before we move on. Oh yeah, take your sip of Fiji first. Sponsor us.
I got bars. That's it.
You had me hyped up. You're asking me before this interview, can
bars.
I freestyle? Nah, get the hell out of my studio.
Bar. Nah, this is not the podcast for that. I'm gonna let my homie Medina rap from Good Problems Collective. I am just a producer, but it's also crazy. Something else that I've brought back is playing guitar. Mm-hmm. So
I saw like a reel the other day that you
posted
on your story.
Like I grew up playing guitar. That's my first love, and like I said, I really just like exiled like emo. I was like, okay, this is done. Throw it out. You know what I'm saying? Like I traded my Marshall amp, my Mesa cab, my SG, all that for Ableton. And if you know, you know, you know. I don't know. And I just pretty much just said like, I treated it like a bad relationship. Like I don't ever want to see you again type. You know what I'm saying? And then
you broke up with emo.
Broke up with it. It was harsh. It was hard, honestly. And it was sad because like all I wanted was to be in a band. And I felt like out of like survival, like unless I wanted to be like some dumb doctor or astronaut or dumb lawyer, like I needed to pursue this music shit. And it was like a survival thing where I had no choice essentially. So now at this point, like you said, 15 years later, I'm finally in this full circle point of my life where I'm DJing, I'm doing Emo Night, I'm still producing, but now I'm incorporating the musicality back into it from emo, from post-hardcore, bringing the guitar back. And it's an interesting time because there's an actual, not only like for the aesthetic, but for the sound, you know, like a lot of music a lot of hip hop, a lot of electronic is now incorporating rock sounds again. So, I mean, music is cyclical. It just keeps on going, keeps on spinning. And these little like fusion moments are like where I'm most interested in. Right.
And we can have very good ones, and then we can have like MGK.
Limp Bizkit,
like, God, take it away. But
MGK, not a fan, huh?
Not a fan.
Yeah, I just don't like him because he like kind of stole my name, and because like MK, like it's just gonna be affiliated. I've never known Machine Gun, but it's like affiliated with my name, so like I don't really fuck with him for that, if I'm being honest.
He had to give the name back too.
And it's weird because like I feel like he's a great actor, might I say. If I like, let me just compliment Sandwich here. Great actor. I feel like he really came from the scene, and then he hit hip hop, and now it just feels like kind of like, I don't know. It's like he's like the real thing, but like what he's doing feels fake.
Right.
To me.
Yeah. I feel like he's trying just a tad too hard.
He looks like somebody who didn't grow up with it, but he did, and it's just strange.
Right.
I will not turn out like that. Yeah, I mean, you know, respect to everybody making music, making money, man. Like, I love that.
For sure. This is your time for a shameless plug. Take your time to promote whatever you want to do, whatever, you know.
Shit, bro. Matt Kelly, Good Problems Collective, Senior Citizen Podcast. I appreciate y'all having me. I am a producer. Damn, I almost spilled the beans. I'm a rapper. No, producer, DJ, guitarist. Anybody who wants to just make some music, you know, we throw in shows, we throw in emo nights, we do way more than emo, but I mean, for the sake of this podcast, like the emo is alive, especially with people like you, Miss Vicky, like making it like stay and like with the heartbeat and everything. Like this podcast should go really far, bro, because there's not like a lot that I've seen in this area like doing shit like you, bro. So like
it hasn't been done.
I don't think so, right? At least not in 10 to 15 years, right?
At least not that, and definitely not with a female host, and it's something that I'm very proud of. So your words mean a lot to me.
Oh, dude. And you're awesome. It was a pleasure meeting you the first time. I'm so glad we stayed friends and like down to chill, bro. You know what I'm saying? Anytime. You and your boy, me and my girl, we got the people back there, grab some drinks, hit the Citadel, you know what I'm saying? And then we hit the stage, hit the rooftop, happy hour all night, industry night. But yeah, that's really my plugs. I'm just moving and grooving. I don't really have anything to promote right now. I got music out on Spotify. I got a lot of projects coming up with some local artists in West Palm Beach and Lake Worth. That's probably where you find me the most nowadays. I do live in Pompano, but I find myself in West Palm a lot nowadays. A lot of great artists up there. Miami's great as well. It's just a lot of traffic. But I just love this music stuff, bro. And like whether it is being a producer, being a DJ, being a production, like a director, like a program director, something like that. Like you said, I'm always going to be in this music shit. So, yeah, let's just keep it alive doing some shit like this.
That's awesome, and I want to thank you so much for your time. Everybody go follow Matt Kelly because he's amazing. And
Matthew
he's
Kelly on Instagram.
Exactly. It'll be somewhere on,
right here.
The image, right. And nothing. We'll hopefully have you again, sometime soon if you're doing something else big. And that's it for the Senior Citizen Podcast.
Solid, my dude. I appreciate y'all having me. Good Problems Collective. Matt Kelly, we out.